Welcome to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Owen Hayes. You're watching Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented to you by, again, the one and only Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Today is the 3rd of March, believe it, Sunday, and we've got a great one lined up for you. If you are getting excited, and after yesterday's show with Shane Magnuson, there's a lot of you getting very excited about spring Chinook season. A lot. Kind of makes me think I should have been talking spring Chinook maybe 2 weeks ago, as opposed to starting now. We've got another one lined up for you. Chris Bertopoulos, from, or owner-operator, I should say, of Chris V's Guide Service. You can see him there with a spoon caught. By the way, I caught that in the photo. Shinook. We're going to talk spring Chinook pretty much the whole show with Chris this morning. We're also going to do our Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week with him, and we're going to talk about bait management. The whole time Chris and I have been here, we've been talking about bait, right? Herring, coon, shrimp, prawns, different things that we are all, well, hopefully all, and me sometimes not so much, it seems like, different baits that we use to go after spring Chinook. And this year could be interesting. We mentioned, or I shouldn't say we, Shane mentioned yesterday that it could be one of those years where it might be a little bit of an early start just because of the conditions that we have right now going forward. Now, he was actually referencing more towards the Columbia. We got this question. Folks were asking, well, what do you mean? Willamette's destroyed. Referring mostly to the Columbia, right? It could be. You know, ever the optimist, like all duck hunters are, let's hope that that's the case, but you have to be ready for it. Now, when you're talking about bait, gear, terminal gear, flashers, rods and reels, all those things, sure, you have to have that stuff that you need to be successful before things get good. Because once it gets good, you ain't gonna find all those things that you wanna have, right? Well, today with Chris, we're gonna talk how he likes to go about it, different gear, rods, setups that he likes to use, and get some advice from him that should, and quite honestly will, help you be more successful if you pay attention. I'm one of you, okay? As long as we pay attention, we're gonna learn something. I actually already learned something this morning about herring in particular that I actually feel kind of dumb about, that I didn't really understand when he initially mentioned it. But that's why I do what I do and he does what he does, right? We're going to have that opportunity to learn from Chris this morning. So make sure you check us out the entire show because we're going to have plenty of time to talk with Chris. If you have questions, maybe you have something specific you'd like to ask a professional like Chris, call us up. It's 503-548-6777. That's the viewer hotline right here. Very simple. If you have a question, you can hold. We can get that question to Chris, or you can just relay that to Ryan, and we'll do everything we can to get that question in there and try to get that answered for you. So take advantage of the opportunity that you might have. And of course, it's just GPS that can do that for you, but I'm not going to beat that horse. Anyway, we'll also have river levels for you. Things are changing relatively quickly. We, of course, talked about it yesterday. We'll talk again about it this morning. We're going to have, well, Ryan, I might be throwing you a curveball. We might even be able to throw up the fish counts as well. We haven't necessarily added that back in yet, but it is that time of year we need to get it in. But we'll have all the river levels for you, for all of us that are still focused on chasing winter steelhead. The season is not over. Yesterday I had mentioned that, it's kind of, it's that first week of March. Things are kind of transitioning. I was by no means, and for those that were trying to say that I was trying to deter everyone from going, I don't have that kind of power, but thank you for thinking that. Deter everyone from going winter steelhead fishing. No, there's still some very good opportunities. We'll talk about that in this upcoming segment as well. I am absolutely still tunnel visioned on trying to get a few more steelhead before this thing's all done, and then switch gears to Chinook season, which, by the way, we've only got 1 month. If you think about it, right? If they're closing on April 4th, it's a month on the Columbia. So it's that time. You need to be getting prepared. Today we'll be able to get some of that information out there that will help you. We will find out from Katie Sneagle what the weather is actually going to do this upcoming week, and hopefully it's exactly what she had mentioned yesterday, because there was sun in there. And I'd be happy to see some of that after this past week. So we will be covering quite a bit of ground with Chris. We will have the Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week, and we're going to call that bait management. We're going to talk with Chris about a couple of different topics, herring, shrimp, different things there that might help you, again, be more successful and at least touch on the fact on how important your bait is. It doesn't matter if it's herring, prawns, coon shrimp, eggs for that matter. I hope that bite happens. Again, the most frustrating egg bite in the world is in Oregon City, but we'll talk about that at some other time. Yes, taking care of your bait is extremely important. So we'll be able to cover quite a bit of ground again with Chris throughout the show. So before we get to a phone call, or should I take the call now, Ryan? All right, we've got Keith from Portland. He's got a question about hatcheries. Whew. I think we all have questions about hatcheries. The problem is with that, who has answers? And hopefully I do. We'll see. Keith, what's going on?
Well, my question for you is, I'm an 87-year-old Portland veteran. Caught my first spring salmon in 1947.
Wow.
And we've had hatcheries on the Columbia River system for, what, 100 years?
Yes, sir. Yep.
So my question is, how can they say that there are, quote, native fish in that river after almost this many? All the tributaries that go into the Columbia, the Willamette, and everything else have all had hatchery fish in them. How can they say there are native fish? I think we have clipped fish and unclipped fish. Period.
Keith, that's a great question. I think we've all been asking the same question. How can somebody still say that we have, quote unquote, everyone, native Chinook still in our systems? Then there's lots of different ways that can be debated, Keith, and there's a lot of folks that are out there that like to use that specific quote unquote term in a very negative way when you're talking about hatcheries, right? That's one of the reasons why we're losing a lot of hatcheries around here in the Northwest. If it's from Washington, Oregon, and for that matter, California as well, there's lots of groups out there that use that term against hatcheries because they want to somehow miraculously bring a native run back. And I think common sense tells everyone that that's not true and that that's not possible this day and age, being 2024. As humans, we've destroyed that. Now, there's ways that we can mitigate that and hopefully, you know, be able to take care of what may remain, but a true genetic strain, we've had the folks here, the scientists, the documentation, the numbers to prove that that is a long shot. That's very, very difficult to actually say and be accurate, right? You can say it if you want to, but really the biggest way, or the best way that you would want to actually kind of address that is a wild fish, a fish that's not clipped, that may have been reared in the wild. So I understand your question, but I can honestly tell you, sir, I can't give you that answer, but I think if common sense exists, which in 2024, that's laughable. That's why I'm laughing when I say that. That's probably not true.
We've destroyed it. Yeah. Well, I agree. I just thought I'd call to see, because you never hear anybody talking about them. They always talk about natives and you know, clipped.
Yeah, I get you. It's a great question, sir, and congratulations. 87, got your first one back in 1947. That's we just celebrated my father's 80th birthday yesterday. I hope to be able to get him into one of those. If I can get him in the boat, maybe get him one of those as well. And I can assure you, even if it has a fin, it ain't native. But at the very least, Keith, thanks for your phone call. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great morning, sir. Thanks for watching the show. All right, let's go ahead and show you some photos. And we need more. It turns out we're getting a little bit light, right? We want to see more of your photos. If you've been sending photos in and maybe you haven't seen your photos, send it again. We want to make sure that we're able to get these things in and show everybody off, just like this one. This is from Mitch. Great day on the river. Beautiful steelhead there. And yeah, dime. I got a rough idea of kind of the zone that he's in, but at the very least, Mitch, thanks for sending the photo in. Remember, natives, wilds, take care of those fish. Grocery shopping, yes, it is, Damon. Damon, I wonder if that's Damon Struble. Based on that fish box that he's got there, I bet you that is Damon Struble from Nomad Fishing. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Those are groceries. Lean cod, bottom fish, deliciousness, by the way. Maybe be able to have a chance to do that this year myself. Here's another great one. This is from Christopher, North Coast Fun. Wow, that is a snake of a steelhead. It is a hatchery. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but I guarantee you, it's still delicious. That's why we do this, everyone. Perfect meat. That's why we have hatcheries, by the way. but we're not going to get sidetracked, right? Christopher, thanks for sending that in. Columbia sturgeon. I'm going to obviously look at the background. You're going to know, of course, that is well upriver where the retention season was this year. Robert, thanks for sending that in. 3 nice keeper-sized sturgeon there. My stomach just growled. Wow. Pike minnow fishing with the grandson, out making some money, hopefully. Hopefully they're out there participating in that pike minnow reward program. And if you remember, everyone, the top producer this year was over 100 grand again. You can have fun and make a little dough at the same time. Robert, thanks for sending the photo and great picture as always. Here's how you do it. You have the Fox 12 app. You find Outdoor GPS. Once you click on it, it'll tell you exactly how to upload your photos and video. And we need more. If you've always wanted to get your photos in, this is the time. Maybe you got something from last year going into spring Chinook season. Maybe you got fish that you are just trying to keep close to your chest right now because you don't want to know you don't want everybody else to know where you've been fishing. Perfect. Hold on to it for a little while, then send it in. We'd love to be able to show you off with those photos like we do at the beginning of every one of our shows. All right, we're going to come back from this break. We're going to have my field report from yesterday, primarily river levels, turbidity, which doesn't matter. The Willamette's gone for at least a week, maybe 2, everyone. It's just that simple. And fish counts, as long as Ryan can get that in there. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.